Yo everyone, since some more quality of life changes have arrived for Lich farming, and a lot of you have been asking, today we're going to go through Liches and explain the fastest way to get through them, from getting the weapons you want to how to use the Requiems correctly. Follow this guide correctly and it will be physically impossible for you to ever get a rank 5 Lich. You will always be killing it faster than that. So there is a lot to get through with Liches. There are so many different things that can make farming Liches easier or harder depending on your personal playstyle. I'm expecting to go forever since there is so much to Liches, so this video, I'm going to include video chapters for the first time. So if you look on the scroll bar, I'll be breaking up all the information into useful chunks. However, of course, I do recommend watching it all through, as there is potential that even you experienced Lich hunters out there might be missing a small bit of information that could massively speed up your farming process. Before I do get in depth though, make sure to check out the subscribe button. It massively helps out the channel and you can always change your mind later. When you start on Liches, I do recommend farming one of every possible Requiem mod before starting. The reason for this is that there is nothing more painful than getting into a Lich and then having to stop midway just to go farm a Requiem that you do not own. So, for a super quick rundown, you get Requiem relics from Kuva Siphons as a chance and are guaranteed from a Kuva flood. They can also drop from murmurs during Lich hunting itself, which means once you do get your first couple of Liches down, you should have a good income of these relics. As for opening them, running them with a squad of 4 is always better, and once you have a good amount of them, running them flawless is recommended. The reason for that is Radiant relics have a 20% chance per mod to drop, totaling a 40% chance for you getting a mod, while a flawless relic has a 17% chance per mod drop, which equals 34%, but it costs half as much. Provided you have enough relics, running them flawless is way better for trace costs. Running with 3 others running flawless, you will barely ever not get a mod from a mission. After this, the first step in Lich farming is obviously obtaining a Lich to begin with. I will say before farming, make sure you are taking along the right frame. Kuva and Tenet weapons all come with an extra element on the weapon based on what frame was used when you killed the Larveling. Firstly, you need to decide what element you want to go with. For a few of the popular ones, for example, you want Magnetic if you're getting a Kuva Nucore, Toxin for the Brahma, the Tsar, as well as the Jakur, which are my personal favorites. However, if you aren't sure, this infographic here may help. This resource has been passed around Discord and I am unsure of its origins, so I don't really have someone to shout out for this. But the information on this chart is 100% correct. I will also link this image in the description if you wish to save a copy for yourself. Also, for those wanting to farm ephemeras, they are all based on the element, meaning for those ephemera farmers out there, you will need to get some dodgy element Liches just so you can get that ephemera that you're missing. Once you know what element you need, you then need to find the correct frame that will give you that element, which you can now find on this little infographic here as well. This will also be linked. It is a lot of information to be sure, but if you have the images, you don't need to think too much. You have all the information right there for when you need it. Now, we have sister Liches as well as Kuva Liches, and both, while running on a similar system, do have differences and their farming locations are one of those said differences. For obtaining Kuva Liches, you want to be going to Cassini on Saturn. Kuva Larvelings, which are the units that get you Liches, spawn on Grineer base missions that are level 20 or higher. Cassini here is a level 21 Grineer capture mission. So to get a Larveling to spawn, once in, all you need to do is wait for the screen to flash red, similar to the Stalker and factions. Once you see it, you then need to kill a bunch of enemies in the 30 seconds after that flash. Once you have killed enough of them, you will get a transmission and your Larveling will appear. When you knock down the Larveling, it will have an image of the weapon your Lich would have should you choose to take that Larveling. If you want it, execute and extract. If you don't, then you just need to restart the mission and try again. A very easy way to do this is by using the Xeneric Focus School with Lightning Dash, as it spawns a little electric ball on each dash that can kill enemies. Simply once you see the flash, all you need to do is dash around the entire mission with your operator towards extraction. The electricity balls will kill enough enemies along the way for you, meaning less work and faster times. As for farming sister Liches, it gets a little bit more complicated. To start with, you need these crown coins, which also means you need to have completed the Sisters of Parvos questline as a prerequisite. If you have completed the questline, To get crown coins, you need to go to Corpus ship missions and farm until a treasurer shows up. Kill it and it will drop you a crown coin. Pick it up and there you go. For the actual way to get the sister to spawn, we're going to go to Hydra on Pluto. To get one to spawn here, you must complete a base tier of the Garanum Void. So go into Hydra, find yourself a golden hand, enter the Void, and kill enough to complete at least tier 1, which is 25 kills. For that part, it can be difficult for some, as if you're using a specific frame for an element, you may not have a DPS frame on. Instead, I personally recommend using the Archiplasma, or if you already have it, the Tenet Archiplasma, as they are both really good for this mission. I will make sure to link a build in the description as well. Now once you leave the Granum Void, simply go on with the mission as normal. Eventually, you'll get a red flash, and then you'll get your sister. Same process as Kuva Liches to decide whether or not you want the Tenet weapon that the sister will provide. Now at the time of this video, a new patch did just come out, which massively makes Lich farming easier for new hunters. Due to the amount of Lich weapons increasing, farming for a specific weapon could be slightly painful. It was recently changed in a patch that if you refuse a Larveling, then the weapon will be removed from the weapon pool for your next runs until you select one. This just means that farming is really fast for you if you only want a specific weapon. Now, once you have taken out your Larveling and are ready to get onto the actual taking out Lich stage, we need to talk about farming for Murmurs. For those that are new to Liches, Murmurs are obtained from Thralls for Kuva Liches or the Hounds for Sister Liches. You need to take out these during Lich missions on your Lich's planet. First and foremost, farming Liches with a group of people, whether you're friends or pubs, is way better than solo. The reason for this is that an attempted Lich kill, which uses the wrong Requiem mods, by a teammate gives Murmurs to everyone in the squad. If you think in terms of 4 people trying their Lich on tier 1, you can realize how quickly those extra Murmurs add up and can unlock Requiem clues for all team members much faster. For choosing what missions to run, however, there are 2 trains of thought. Some decide to do long missions first, namely survival, as running this in a public mission, you are likely to get randomed in your mission, which results in potentially more free Murmur. And also, due to the mission's length, you pretty much will always hit the max amount of Murmurs that you can get from one mission. While others prefer more to go with short missions first, such as capture and rescue and sabotage, to get the Lich anger up, and then to farm Murmurs so they can then get to a long mission like survival last, and guarantee the Lich to spawn. There is of course a max amount of Murmurs per mission. For Kuva Liches, this is 10 Thralls. A spawned Lich can then convert a further 10 normal units into Thralls itself as well. While for Sisters, a maximum of 3 Hounds can spawn per mission, with an extra being spawned for each attempt on a sister with a Requiem. For me personally, if solo, as in not with friends, I suggest running a public survival first, and then after that running captures, rescues and sabotages, to hope you get all your Murmurs to unlock your first Requiem before your Lich spawns. If however you are with friends, I suggest the opposite. The reason for this is that if solo, you are hoping that a random person will join your missions and attempt to kill a Lich, giving you that boost you need to get the Requiem faster. While if you are with friends, having both your Liches spawn in the same mission is just easier for the squad, and it will help with Murmurs for both of you if you fail and both your Liches rank up. Something that is very important to note is this. Never attempt to kill your Lich if you do not have a new Requiem or combination ready to test. Randomly attempting to kill your Lich rarely goes well, and in most cases will make you end up with a rank 5 Lich unless you're very lucky. Now, for the way I order my Requiems, to make sure I always get a low rank Lich kill, does require having an Oull. The Requiem mod only obtained from successfully getting a combination on a Lich in which you have a 25% chance from it dropping. However, one was given for free to everyone when Sisters of Parvos dropped. And if you don't have one, maybe you started after that, they can be picked up very cheap in the marketplace. I do highly recommend these as it makes it impossible to get a rank 5 Lich if you follow this method, and it will drastically reduce your Lich farming time. If you do not own one and don't wish to get one, making sure you only attack a Lich when testing an unlocked mod combination is the best way to go. For those that do have an Oull, however, we use this method here. This graphic went around Discord a fair while ago as well, made by a guy called Inspector J. If you follow this, you will never get a rank 5. The basic gist of it is this. For the first tier, put your Oull in the first slot, followed by your first unlocked Requiem clue for your Lich, and a random third mod. This combination means you have a guaranteed first slot, which is a 1 in 3 chance to get the second slot correct, and then a 1 in 7 chance for your third slot, meaning you have a total of a 1 in 21 chance to get a tier 1 Lich kill. Now if you compare this to not using an Oull, which will give you a 1 in 126 chance to get a tier 1 kill, it's much better. Now, if it fails, you move your failed mod to the third slot and replace the second one with the next Requiem that you unlock. This will give you a 1 in 6 chance to get a rank 2 kill. However, if you are lucky and the second mod was correct while the third one isn't, simply replace the third slot with your next Requiem unlock, and in that case, you'll have a 50% chance to kill it on rank 2. So you can already see how powerful this method is. On tier 2, and the worst you can be at by following this is a 1 in 6 chance. Following on from that, it gets way more complicated to explain, but the graphic just makes it look a lot more simple. Essentially, using the Oull to manipulate and figure out which locations are Requiems earlier makes this really strong. You have got a step-by-step instruction using this graphic, and me over-explaining it might make it seem a lot more complicated. But as long as you follow this, and the essentials such as always checking a new Requiem or combination, and always use your Oull unless you have all 3 Requiems unlocked, you will be golden. I think the best way to show this strat is to show you a few of my own Liches, which is in the background now, and how I followed this graphic to produce great results. You can see in every single one that I'm showing here, I follow the same methodology, and my total Lich ranks all skew to really low, which means much faster farming time. For what to use when farming Requiems and going through the Lich, I highly recommend using a Banshee with Eclipse. Using Banshee's Silence is a good survival tool, which comes with Sonar as the second ability, which also massively helps out during portions where you have to kill the Lich. If you have access to the Hemlith, you can also subsume Eclipse, which is what I have done, which just helps for wiping the floor with all kind of normal enemies. Here is the build I use while farming Liches if you wish to get straight to it. Just a focus on duration and strength, mostly with a rolling guard of course for survivability. I take this with a Cedo. The reason for this is that the way the Lich's damage reduction is calculated means that any weapon with a high projectile count work really well, since instead of being one high instance of damage, which gets massively reduced, it's tons of smaller instances of damage, which results in a much higher damage output. There are lots of weapons that can do the job, but I do recommend the Cedo with this build right here. Once you have gone through the journey of figuring out the correct combination of mods, it is time for the final fight, the Lich Showdown. Both Sisters and Kuva Liches start with a Railjack portion, which goes into a normal mission, where your Lich is basically just a boss. Running this with others, either public or friends, is highly advised, as it can make the fight much easier if you have low gear, and you get corrupted holo keys for each Lich killed, meaning more people just means more loot for you. Using the same Sonar Banshee build, you'll fly through these kills and get out the other end with an awesome new weapon, maybe even an ephemera. That was a lot of information and a really long video, but I did want to go in depth as possible and explain all the little things that could help you on your farming journey. I hope the video helped. Thank you all for being patient as I missed an upload last week. Much love to you all. Robo out.